Hey everybody, it's me, C, back here with another video. Before we do begin, as always, if you like my content and want to see more, feel free to subscribe. Every subscriber means a lot to me. So, also, check the links in the description below if you want to follow me on Twitter to see what I'm up to, or check my Discord server. Again, if you have any questions about XDive, feel free to come join us and we'll be sure to answer your questions to the best of our abilities and all that. So anyways, let's get into the video proper now. So we're about 1 week into the game now, like for realsies. The game launched last week to the day. And I wanted to save this video for now, just to give people some time to play the game and see how it works. But now I want to talk about some tips and tricks for this game. So let's get started. Tip number 1, save your currency. So let's go to the capsule for this to show you what I'm talking about. So, like Dragalia Lost, this is sort of a dual gacha game. So if we click on details here, you can see you are summoning for both characters and weapons. So this is kind of like how in Dragalia Lost you summon for characters and dragons in that sense. However, as you can see, the rates for characters, especially S-rank characters, are 1%. That is not exactly the best. So, if you want to maximize your summoning, my personal recommendation is save your currency until a dive festival comes around. If you do not know, a dive festival is like this game's equivalent to a Gala Dragalia or a Dokkan festival, whatever game you play. It's basically like those where you get the double rates. So these dive festivals give really good characters and have a boosted rate. Since we are on global and not Taiwan, the rates are a little different. They're not the same as Taiwan, where the base percent is like 4%. So there's a little bit of that. So I would suggest saving for a dive festival if you want to get the most use out of your currency instead of going all willy-nilly. Like, I would say skip most gen pool stuff, because it's like, well, you're probably gonna have a chance to go get them in a dive festival on the off chance, so I don't think it's really a need. My one exception to this is, like, say there's a limited character of a character you really like. Let's use Valentine's Iris, for example. So if you like Iris and you want to pull for her Valentine's variant, you could go do that. So, you know, so if you want to collect all the alts for a certain character, it's best to save your currency for when those limited banners do come back, because they're on a normal rating instead of a boost. Unlike Monster Hunter, I think the Monster Hunter collab was like the only case of this where the rates were boosted for limited time characters, like seasonals or whatever. So there's that. So, like in my case, I'd be collecting for 0, obviously, because I want all of them.
Mine.
So, tip number 2, use your patches wisely. So, before we talk about why I say this, if you don't know what patches are, when you summon and when you get a dupe, you get these things called patches. Let's go into the repository and I'll show you what they are. So there are these 2 little things down here. So there's the characters and the weapon variants. So there's 2 different types because, you know, 2 different categories and such. So these are a lot like your Divine Amulets from Princess Connect and all that stuff, and it has kind of the same ranking system as Princess Connect. So if you're familiar with Princess Connect, this should be easy for you to understand. But But like divine amulets, patches are very, very valuable in this game. They are so valuable. So what can you do with these patches, and how do you like get the memories for the characters that you want? So how you do that is go into the shop. So like, say you wanted shards for Zero. Let's use Zero for an example, if I could click on them. So say you want shards for Zero, then you can trade your shards in here to collect them and get memories in return. You could do the same for your weapons. So like if I wanted stuff for my biochemical buster, I could do that here. But I should note, this is only for stuff you've already obtained. So say you're trying to get patches for a character that you do not currently own. You're gonna have a rough fucking time. You're gonna have a rough time and have to rely on RNG for that. So, again, also, if you're saving your currency, like I've said that you probably should be doing in the previous tip, for whatever reason, this resource is going to be very scarce for you and limited. So, here comes as to why I say using your patches wisely. So, if you're saving, you can really only use these at a short burst of time when you have collected a good chunk of them. That's really the only time you can use them. So, it is important to maximize your usage of this item. Do not, and I repeat, do not use it on characters or weapons that you're not going to use for a very long time. So, X, for example, because I know like he's the first character. A lot of people do kind of ditch him after a while. Do not waste your resources on X. Do not, unless you really like him. Also, I can actually show this off. If you collect a certain amount of shards for a character, you can actually unlock them. So through the like beginner's login bonus, we actually got memories to unlock Aelia, who is a character in the game, obviously. So if I click this button, yeah, I unlocked Aelia. So free character just from that. So yeah, these shards come in handy for unlocking characters. But like I said, for X, do not really waste them on him if you don't see yourself using him. Especially since you can obtain his memories super easily through the research. So I don't think you really should be wasting anything on that, save for Palette, save for some other characters, where you can find their memories through research. So basically, case in point, save it for those characters that you actually want to use to clear content with. Otherwise, say you get a new character that you really, really wanted to try, and you want to rank them up to make them more powerful, and you don't have enough patches, well, you're going to be kicking yourself in the goddamn shin for a little bit. So that's why I completely recommend not doing that under any circumstances. Do not spend these things willy-nilly. Anyways, let's go on to the next tip. Tip number 3, do your dailies. I think this one is very self-explanatory. Let's go into the missions. So here's where the dailies would be. I've done most of my dailies today, so I don't exactly have all of them here. So do your dailies every day, even if you don't have time to play the game like extensively that day. You should still at least log in every day to get the bonuses and, do your dailies, because they do have elemental metals in there, which is really nice. And these rewards can build up over time, which is really nice. So if you're kind of like a little bit of a slower player like I am, then this is nice for you, especially as new players, because I think some people are still kind of on that lower end a little bit. You'll receive a lot of stamina and EXP from these, so it is so worth it logging in every day so you can do those things. When you spend more time on the game, you can use that stamina to go farm stuff that you need for research and, stuff to help you push content, which is really, really nice. Tip number 4. If you're stuck on how to increase your power, check the power increasing section. So I talked about this in my Q&A video, So see that little like total power thing like right next to Zero's head? So if you didn't know, you can actually click on this and it will show you how well you are doing in terms of upgrading your stuff. So there are going to be points in the story and in co-op stages where you're going to be gated by might or your power per se. So you'll need to like increase your might and all that and your power in order to do these stages, which is normal. This is kind of what they do in games like this. They want you to keep upgrading. So, looking through this, the game will give you a letter grade, obviously. And my personal recommendation is if it is B or below, you may want to check how you can increase that section. So let's use my chips, for example, because I am fucking terrible at upgrading my chips. So let's use Mega Scorpio, for example. So like I could do this. Oh shit, I can rank him up. Cool. So I'll rank him up here. That can increase his power. And I can level him up a little bit. Let's do to 32. Nothing crazy. Make him a little better. So that can help you push a little bit better. Though obviously you have to do more. I am not great at upgrading my chips, obviously. They're not exactly something I worry too much about. So, as always, my chips are going to be a little low. So, again, make sure you check this and see how you can increase your stuff. So, let me click out of here. So, tip number 5. AFK the arena. Come on, let's be honest, guys. There's a lot of people that do not enjoy PvP in gacha games. Like, they always seem to get it wrong. They always seem to like either get it wrong or have the right idea in mind. It's just executed poorly, per se. So just simply AFK it. If you don't like it, just AFK it. In this game, AFKing doesn't have the biggest punishment in terms of your rewards, unlike a certain other mode. Gee, thank you, Alberian Battle Royale. So in this game, let's go over to the arena. So you can simply AFK it and still get your rewards. Still, granted, if you like the PvP, you can do it as much as you want. I'm not telling you that you don't have to or anything like that. You can do it as many times as you want. At least still do it for your dailies, which I think for the dailies in Global, you have to do it 3 times a day. So at least do it 3 times a day. And if you don't care about the PvP, just AFK it. Don't like fight or whatever if you don't want to. Like simply just AFK it while you're doing something real fast. It's really easy. There is a ranked version of PvP right here, but I haven't really done ranked in PvP in this game, so I can't really say for sure exactly if this means anything, but it's more of like bragging rights and all that stuff, and you get titles for it. I did hear from somebody you get a full multi for it, so if you do care, that is another way to get elemental medals, so that's something. So, but if you really don't care about ranked, stick to practice mode if you simply just want the rewards and don't want to be more hardcore on that, as you will still get some pretty nice rewards. Let's look at the rewards. Like, see, you'll get patches, you'll get medals, you'll get armor parts, stuff like that. And then there's on the weekly side, if I could click it, you can get elemental medals and all that other stuff too. So it's still worth doing because you'll get extra prizes, and again, they can build up over time. So let's click there. So tip number 6. Use all the event stamina in one run. So, special events in X-Dive take a special stamina called EP, which is like the yellow little energy tanks that you see on the screen right now. As you would expect, whenever there's a special event in X-Dive, that stamina will be used up. So instead of the stages repeatedly to do rewards, let's go over here into like execute example. in case we were actually going to do the fight. So see, you would actually do this instead of just leaving it at like one stamina thing. Maximize your stamina usage. Use all your stamina in one go, just so you have to do one run and you're done for the day. And it will also maximize your rewards so you can get that stuff faster. So it will cut down on your time grinding on the event. So also, bonus points if you do have the rate up characters and weapons for this event, and these will help you net more rewards and do more damage during the event. So like for example, Second Armor X has a boost, but here's the problem with that. Second Armor X isn't available in the game, so you can't exactly do that, so your best choice is honestly using Zero, if anything, because he's free. So there's that. So those write-ups will help you get your rewards, so it's best you do that. So, tip number 7. Read the weapon and character skills. This game is very, very open-ended in terms of using your characters, in terms of clearing content, so you can use just about anybody, especially in story mode. However, some characters and weapons have a clear place where they perform best. Like some characters do better in PvP than they do PvE. Stuff like that. Or some characters, like let's use Cinnamon for example. She is clearly more meant to be a supporter instead of an attacker. So let's look at her skills here. Let's look at her second skill. So like all her allies, they will get a stat boost from her. So this would make Cinnamon really, really good for co-op. So take your time to read the skills of your characters and weapons. This will help you develop some strategies in terms of how to deal with certain content in the game. So in case you care about that, but still you can use anybody you want. But I'm just saying some characters do have a specific place, and take the time to look at it and read it, because you may never know until you read it. And my last tip for the day is take your time. This game is a very long-term investment game, meaning you'll be playing this for a good chunk of time to upgrade your characters to the fullest. Like, even on my Taiwan account, I haven't even upgraded everything to the fullest. I think people are in like the 600,000 power range. That's like endgame level power, and that in the Taiwanese version. So yeah, there is a big hill to climb. So for this game, it is very, very important you take your time, and it will be a while before you reach endgame in terms of content, obviously, especially since this is global, so we are on a delay as well. So in the first week of the game, which we've kind of already passed at this point, but still you could also use this for like newer players that are just now jumping in case whatever version you're playing. In the first week of the game, you should be more concerned with pushing story as far as you can, so you're able to gain access to stages where you can auto for materials you need to or increase your power. So you will want to push story as much as you can. I know at some point I think Storm Eagle is where it kind of gets hard. So if you can make it up to there and try to push, then I think you'll be okay for some time. But it's still just like, take your time. Do not speedrun this game. Speedrunning a game like this will basically dry you out really, really quickly. And if you want this to be a long-term investment game for you, don't do that. Please don't do that. But obviously, everybody plays games differently, but again, this is not really the game I think you should be speedrunning. If you do that, then you know you will burn out, like I just said. So again, take your time. Enjoy the game for what it is, and don't go too crazy with pushing, especially since you will be material dry. So use your resources wisely and just don't use them willy-nilly. I've seen a lot of people do that. It's like, okay, cool, but it's just still like, I'd rather just future-proof myself, especially since, you know, I have the prior experience with Taiwan to know what to do. So I have a little bit of an advantage there, I won't lie. But that's why I'm telling you all this. That's why I'm giving you all these tips. But enough rambling. I hope you all liked my tips and tricks, and thank you all so much for watching. And I will see you all next time.